extent?
Primarily what he said, that the special counsel office was completely upside down. They already knew they wanted to get Trump. They already knew their theory of the case. And rather than have the evidence really guide the investigation, they basically just knew the evidence was there, and it's just a matter of how finding it. So they already come to their preconceived conclusion of this thing. And, Marie, if what you're reporting is correct, it is incredibly disappointing that John Durham is not going to be reporting. There would be what's political is if he doesn't report. We have had the deep, and I will call it the deep state, through these other investigations, prevent the American public from knowing what happened with the FBI's corruption of their investigation, the corruption of the transition process for now 3.5 years. We have been prevented from getting documents because John Durham doesn't want us to in any way, shape, or form affect his prosecution. So the bottom line, that means the American people might go to the polls without knowing the full extent and all the detail of all the corruption, again, of that FBI investigation and the corruption of the transition process. I think John Durham, if he's not going to present indictments, Attorney General Barr has to make available to the American public what they've already found out, or at a minimum, provide those documents to people like me that these things are under subpoena. John Radcliffe has to declassify this information so that we can make it public to the American public before the election. The political nature is if we don't provide that information.
Well, there will be more declassifications, as far as I'm hearing, that there will be more declassifications potentially this week that could be very important and telling for the American people. But I agree with you. I've spent a lot of time, 3+ years, on this investigation and tried to seek out truth. I agree. The American people have a right to understand what took place here before they go to the polls. It's very disheartening that now what I'm hearing is that there will be no John Durham interim report, no indictments before the election.
So let me disagree a little bit with Chairman Graham, where he said he's very pleased with the production out of the FBI. I am not. Let me just give you one example. Here's a document we got from the General Services Administration. You can see that it's an email, and everything's presented except for the very bottom. They've redacted the mobile phone number of the person writing the email. Here's the exact same email we got from the FBI. You see something different here? Everything is redacted. And that, we're supposed to get thousands of pages from I had to finally subpoena the FBI. They are on their second extension. Everything is due by, I think, the 30th of September. And that's the kind of information we get. It's non-information. We have to fight over redacting the same documents that we get from other agencies. So I am not happy at all with the document production we've gotten out of Director Wray and the FBI. Not even close.
You know what? I'm really glad you put up those documents, because this is something that I have heard from day one for 3+ years. When Radcliffe was in Congress, Nunes in Congress, yourself in the Senate, you've been demanding documents to ensure that you understood what took place, and they will not get you the documents. They sit on documents and make it incredibly hard for you to prove the point that is true, and that is that it was a sham investigation into President Trump, and there's a ton of wrongdoing here. Do you think you're going to get the documents? I mean, is this Christopher Wray? Why is Christopher Wray still in charge of the FBI when he is overseeing these agents sitting on things?
His job should be to restore the credibility and integrity of the FBI, and the only way you do that is through exposure. But the other point I have to make, Maria, when we finally do get these classified sections redacted or unredacted, when they become declassified, you look at what information you have, and you have to ask yourself the question, what national security interest was at stake here? Why was this ever redacted? The answer is almost always because it embarrassed the agency or it embarrassed a powerful person. That is not the reason to classify information. It's certainly not the reason to keep the truth from the American public. And that's all I've been trying to do, is I've been trying to reveal the truth. Another important point to make. Yes. I've been accused of peddling Russian disinformation. There is no Russian disinformation in our 87-page report. The press report on it. And I'm calling on the press. You were duped. You were leaked false information. You should not protect those sources that leaked you false information. It should be your journalistic duty to basically tell the American people who provided you false information that resulted in this 2 or 3 year national nightmare because of the false narratives that you carried the Democrats' water on.
Do your job, media. Ron Johnson, it's good to see you this morning, sir. Thank you. Senator Ron Johnson joining us this morning with compelling information. Coming up, the office.